Okay, so my pot has dried from its first coat of raw diamond, which I put around the top 2/3 of the pot. So now what I need to do is I need to work on getting my masking tape down. Now what the masking tape does is it acts as a sealer for where the colour will block it from bleeding into where I don't want it to go. It's always a bit interesting when you're working with a pot that's as textured as this one. Can you see the ribbing in it? It's got quite a bit of ribbing, and it's also got a whole lot of lines that are indented into the pot. So that's going to be interesting to work with. But what I'm going to do is I'm going 13 centimetres up from the bottom, just really easily measuring it from that point and just bringing it up to 13, and then I've made my marks, just very small marks around the pot at 13 centimetres. And then I pick up my masking tape and begin the long process of attaching the masking tape in the right spot. Now, as time-consuming as putting the tape on can be, and quite frustrating as well, to make sure you get that line straight on a round object, it is the best way to get that straight line. I mean, if you've got a really, really steady hand, then you could probably do it freehold, or freestyle, which is fantastic. But I know personally, I don't have that steady hand, and I need all the help I can get with a straight line. So masking tape like this, a painter's tape, is my best friend. Okay, so all of the tape is now connected. I just want to make sure that I'm really pressing it down into these grooves here. And even if you had a flat surface that you were working to, you really want to make sure that the side that's going to be taking the paint that you're adding to it is firmly pressed down, because otherwise you run the risk of it bleeding through, and then you might as well just do it freehand and not put the tape on at all. And then, once those bits are sealed, you're ready to put some pretty paint on. Once again, with the paint, don't go too hard, too fast. You just want to make sure that you get a nice, even coat. Now, try to remember while you're painting, like anything, start from the bottom. I like to start from the bottom and work my way up. But what I tend to do, especially in situations like this, is I leave that just a small gap between the trim and the painting for the first round as I'm going around the pot. The reason is I actually like to make sure that I'm in a concentrated state and that I'm really focusing what I'm doing when I'm doing that trim bit. It just gives it less time to seep through if it's going to happen, and it gives me more time to concentrate on making sure that I give it as straight a line as I can. I mean, you can already see how these kind of colours just make a room pop. I mean, once this is finished, the trim's done and it's got a pot plant in it, it just looks so bright. It completely elevates a room. It gives it just a little bit more of a polished look with a bit more of a pop of colour. This is the time when I need to restrain myself and put the brush down, because you do and you can run the risk of painting too much, making the paint too thick, and it makes it really difficult to keep that paint tape that you've lined around nice and stable, so it's actually able to do its job. If you soak it and drench it with paint, it's just going to take that much longer to dry and probably won't get the effect you want. And now, there's that fun part about waiting for paint to dry. Got to wait for the paint to dry, and then we'll take the tape off and see the finished product.